This tutorial is brought to you by PE Prep Engine. Free study guides and practice questions at peprepengine.com.
Topic 6 of Week 6, Supportive Knowledge, Codes and Standards, the ASME B31 Piping Codes, and the Boiler and Pressure Vessel Code. Last topic, we sized a wall from an allowable stress and a weld joint efficiency, and treated both as given. This lesson opens the documents that set them. No formulas today. The skill is recognizing which code governs a given component and remembering one number, 15 psi gauge. Why codes exist. Last topic's wall sizing formula pulled in two numbers from outside the physics. The allowable stress S, which is the material strength already divided by a factor of safety, and the weld joint efficiency E, a penalty on a seam that isn't fully examined. The stress equations are pure mechanics. They never tell you how much margin to carry or how far to trust a weld. A design code does, and states adopt those codes into law. So the exam skill here is qualitative. Match a component to its governing ASME code. And remember the one pressure threshold that makes a tank a code pressure vessel. The two families. Nearly every code question sorts a component into one of two ASME families. B31, the code for pressure piping, governs the piping, the lines that carry fluid between equipment. The BPVC, the boiler and pressure vessel code, governs the containment, the boilers and vessels themselves. The dividing question is simple. Is it a run of pipe or a vessel that holds pressure? Pipe goes to B31, a boiler or tank goes to the BPVC. Each family then splits by service, which the next two slides open up. ASME B31 is a family of sectional codes, and two dominate the exam. B31.1 Power Piping covers piping in electric power stations and industrial plants, high-pressure steam and water power cycles, and boiler external piping. It's the more conservative code and aligns with BPVC Section I. B31.3 Process Piping covers refineries and chemical, pharmaceutical, and paper plants, a broader range of process fluids with more design latitude for the owner. Process range encompasses power range, not the reverse. Other sections exist: B31.4 Liquid Pipelines, B31.5 Refrigeration, B31.8 Gas Transmission, B31.9 Building Services. But power versus process is the split the exam presses. The Boiler and Pressure Vessel Code splits into sections. Two matter here. Section 1, Power Boilers, covers the fired units that generate steam in a power cycle. The boiler itself, where B31.1's boiler external piping hands off. Section 8, Division 1, covers pressure vessels by design by rule. The scope line to memorize. Section 8, Division 1, applies to vessels operating above 15 psi gauge, internal or external, fired or unfired. Below 15 psi gauge, a tank generally falls outside its scope. Division 2 is design by analysis, and Division 3 is high pressure. Name them if asked, but Division 1 is the workhorse. Now apply it. No formula. The skill is the sorting. Walk each component through two questions: pipe or vessel, and if a vessel, above 15 psi gauge. A high-pressure steam header in a coal power plant is power piping, B31.1. A chemical transfer line in a refinery is process piping, B31.3. A fired boiler making steam for the turbine is BPVC Section I. A chemical plant reactor vessel at 150 psi gauge and a compressed air receiver at 100 are both above the line, Section 8, Division 1. Two decisions each. Pipe versus vessel picks the family, then service or the 15 psi gauge test picks the section. 3 traps. 1. Don't swap the piping codes. Power piping is B31.1, process piping is B31.3, anchored to the plant type, and the number follows. 2. The boiler and pressure vessel code does not cover piping. Piping is always B31. The BPVC governs the containment, the boiler and the vessel. Boiler external piping is the classic boundary. It's B31.1 and hands off to Section 1 at the boiler. 3. Don't forget the threshold. Section 8 Division 1 governs vessels above 15 psi gauge, fired or unfired. A low-pressure tank below the line is outside its scope. and the trigger is pressure, not heat. 1 recall card. 2 families. B31 for piping, the BPVC for boilers and pressure vessels. B31.1 is power piping, power stations, high-pressure steam and water, boiler external piping, aligned with Section I. B31.3 is process piping, refineries and chemical plants, a broader fluid service scope. BPVC Section I is the fired power boiler. Section 8, Division 1, is pressure vessels above 15 psi gauge, fired or unfired. On exam day, ask pipe or vessel first, then service or the 15 psi gauge test. That two-step sort answers almost every code question, and it closes the loop on the allowable stress and weld efficiency we borrowed last topic. You can now place a component in its governing code, pipe or vessel first, then the section. B31.1 for power piping, B31.3 for process piping, Section 1 for the fired boiler, and Section 8 Division 1 for pressure vessels above 15 psi gauge. That's where the allowable stress and weld joint efficiency from last topic actually come from. In Topic 7, we shift from hardware to how projects run, schedules, critical path, and the project management vocabulary the exam expects. See you in Topic 7.
The full study guide, with every equation and common exam trap, is free at PEPrepEngine.com. Link in the description. Machine design, HVAC, structural, civil, and electrical series are coming soon. Subscribe so you don't miss them.